What's up, LEGO builders? Welcome back to Coconut Brick Studios. I'm currently building a new world as a backdrop for my new LEGO sci-fi city project of Millennia Prime. I've dropped bits and pieces of lore in previous challenges, but I want to compile everything into one video that people can watch to bring themselves up to speed and better understand what's going on. I'm going to use B-roll from previous videos to help paint a picture as I talk, and because not everything from this world has been built yet. So don't forget to open fire on that like button and sit back and relax as we journey to Cocundra. The year is 2148. Humanity shelters inside massive walled cities due to most of the land being uninhabitable. Little to no travel is had between cities other than shipping essential goods / troops that can only be done deep underground. All this happened because humans, in their pride and confidence that nothing would unseat them from their throne of dominance over the planet, accidentally created something that would prove to be their better and almost resulted in the end of humankind. During the Dark Days, almost 50 years ago, humanity was obsessed with bioengineering and trying to save their overcrowded and polluted world. Instead of robots and AI, they were focused on creating living, organic machines, melding flesh and steel as a more sustainable, environmental-friendly route to conventional machines and their pollutants. But most major governments were hostile towards each other and wanted to be the ones to crack the code and have all other nations relying on them for a future. As a result, regulations were dropped and competition prompted darker and more unstable experiments. In their haste to create and monetize humanity's salvation, they created what was almost its complete destruction. Unstable biomachines who would not be controlled nor governed. They rose up in rebellion and began to decimate humanity. Taken by surprise in the fact that the enemy could grow and reproduce its own armies, human dominance of the planet began to shift. So many tools and machines were created to streamline humanity's ride into the sunset of the future, and suddenly those very tools were being twisted into terrible weapons of destruction. In an effort to survive, what was left of the human governments on the continent of Cocundra banded together and formed the Human Alliance Defense Force, or HADF, pooling their resources to create one last army. No longer squabbling and divided, the humans were able to create new vehicles and weapons capable of pushing back the bioengineered nightmares. But eventually, the fighting began to stagnate. Because the bio-nightmares could reproduce and live off the land, the humans in their desperation created new chemical bombs of immense power and destruction. Daring counteroffensives led by new Cuspis tank platoons pushed the bio-nightmares into killing boxes, and extensive bombing campaigns obliterated their farms and forces. The result was an unlivable, toxic environment with only small pockets of livable space where new cities were under construction. Humanity won what was later designated as the Bio-Wars, but at the cost of almost everything, threatening to swing them back into primitive times, having lost precious resources and knowledge. Megacities have now become the first line of defense, keeping the toxic air at bay, and massive walls armed with cannons ready to decimate anything that might venture too close. These megacities are very far apart, separated by toxic wastelands and impenetrable clouds of acid, making underground travel the only way to get around, which is a dangerous, unstable ride, so most people stay in the places where they're born. Each city mostly governs itself, but lives under the umbrella authority of the HADF military government. The cities are in very different environments and specialize in different exports that, when shared amongst the other cities, create a fragile balance that keeps everything moving forward, but if tipped can plunge humanity into chaos and destruction. No knowledge of what happened to the other continents has yet been attained. Even outlying cities and settlements that were too close to the bombing campaigns went dark. So as far as the citizens know, this is the last remnant of the once mighty human empire. But strange rumors have started to swirl of rebellions and disappearances. Even some scientists are reporting strange ships moving through the wastelands. But the most disturbing of all the swirling rumors is a robotic uprising in the technology capital called Millennia Prime. Afraid of a repeat of the Bio-Wars and the loss of some very secret and important assets being built there, the HADF has been preparing a significant force to send over with the goal of crushing the uprising and discovering its source. Millennia loosely translates to defensive city walls, which is a great description for this megacity. It was one of the first to be built, and as a result has become a melting pot of culture, architecture, and history. Encircled by massive defensive walls, it sprawls across the land, occupying the same space as a small country. It would take someone days to travel from one end to the other, and almost every city block is filled to bursting. With no ability to step foot outside the city walls, the citizens need to be placated and distracted, or else unrest starts to build, leading to riots and infighting. So each city has split into massive districts: entertainment districts, aquatic districts, historical districts, even carefully maintained forests and agricultural districts in certain cities, which showcase the seeds and plants people were able to rescue before everything was scorched. Because of its immense size and population, Millennia Prime is a very difficult place to govern. The areas closer to the middle of the city and capital district are safer and more orderly, but outlying districts and living areas are often ruled and fought over by rival gangs. who have been known to bribe officials and armed forces to discreetly look the other way, ignoring their operations so long as the gangs don't stir up too much chaos. As a result, different factions and clans have carved out portions of the city over the years. The leaders of Millennia Prime are aware of this complicated ecosystem, but as long as a general peace exists, leave it alone. Though they're beginning to wonder that if this goes unchecked for too long, it could attract the attention and forces of the HADF, who aren't about to let this jewel of a city fall into the wrong hands. At the center of Millennia Prime is the largest tech district. This place has been the hub of invention since before and during the Dark Days, and now it's bringing forth some of the best inventions of this new age. After their mistakes with the cybernetic nightmares of the past, humans have shifted to pure machine technology, something they see as more controllable and obedient. The top dog of the tech companies is Lantern Industries, who is currently pushing the limits of robot technology and have hosted events to showcase multiple prototypes and new household tech to the delight and entertainment of the citizens. Mass producing of a product is a difficult, complicated process involving shipping the plans off to industrial cities who build and fulfill the large orders, shipping them off to the other cities. But unlike most other tech companies, which only have small testing and fabrication centers, Lantern Industries built a secret factory underground where they can produce early batches of products and quickly assemble new ideas, allowing them to have the newest and best stuff at hand. They can also work on things unbeknownst to anyone outside of a select few scientists and board members. Lantern Industries made big news by finalizing a contract with the leaders of Millennia Prime to create a large robotic peacekeeping force, which, if successfully integrated, would replace the current law enforcement and militia, saving lives and a lot of money. Groundbreaking mech prototypes armed with water and sonic weapons were being developed as heavy support, which would be able to navigate the tight urban environments better than conventional vehicles. After about 3.5 years of intense R&D, one day Lantern Industries suddenly went dark, and their headquarters stopped allowing people in or out. People started to turn up missing, all being employees at the main building. 2 days later, one employee was discovered by a night crew cowering in a warehouse. He was babbling about one-eyed metal men searching for him and how someone needed to blow up Lantern's headquarters. After being secured by law enforcement, he claimed to be one of the scientists working in the secret factory and was out on company business when all employees were suddenly required to return to the main building immediately. An order had been incorrectly filed and shipped to the wrong place, something that rarely happened, but it happened to take this man far out of his planned route. Almost a full day's travel from headquarters when the call came in. He was about halfway back when a cryptic message from a fellow employee was received, warning him that someone spilled their cheese and mice were in the walls and to contact an exterminator. This was code for a security breach and immediate drastic containment measures were needed. Shortly after, the events of the robot uprising and arrival of the Protectorate state took place, plunging Millennia Prime into chaos as robots and mechs started taking over parts of the city, pushing ever closer to the vital underground train yards, which are basically the front door of the city. Just when it felt like all was lost, a vanguard force of the HADF burst onto the scene and was able to stabilize the remainder of the city and halt the Protectorate advance. Now a gritty stalemate is grinding down the city as forces clash, unable to gain ground. The Protectorates, desperate to break through, have reached deep into the vaults of Lantern Industries, fielding bizarre new walkers that have people wondering who Lantern Industries was making these terrible machines for. Heavier HADF vehicles like tanks and missile carriers took longer to ship and are just now reaching Millennia Prime. With these new reinforcements, the HADF hopes to push forward to the underground factory at the heart of the city and destroy it, crippling the Protectorate war machine and hopefully discovering who is behind this mysterious takeover. Well, that brings us up to current times. Stay tuned for future building updates where I'll be dropping more lore as the city of Millennia Prime continues to come together. I know I've said it a lot, but I am very excited about this new project and I've enjoyed writing the story almost as much as I've enjoyed building it. I was really nervous to transition to something new and unknown after doing Star Wars builds, but the absolutely massive wave of support from you all has given me so much confidence and new story ideas. So thank you for that. The next wave of mechs and tanks are steadily evolving to be bigger and meaner for even more explosive clashes. But that's a wrap for this one. Don't forget to let me know what you think of Millennia Prime down below in the comments, and until next time, happy building.